Hello everyone, Monday morning, and it's the last week of block 3, and this time next week, children, we will be sitting in our very own school in our hall having assembly together, I hope. So we've got a busy morning this morning, and I think I mentioned to you last Monday that I had 2 guest speakers for you. We had Mr. Hogan last Monday, and he read you the story about the Sneetches, a story from Dr. Seuss. And today I've got another guest speaker for you, and you know you're going to be really interested in this one too. But just before I go on to that, I thought I'd better show you my daffodil. Do you know, I had to send Mr. Vincent out on a hunt to find a daffodil that was actually open, because they're still a bit sleepy at the minute and a lot of them are closed. But he managed to find this one in one of our neighbours' gardens who kindly gave it to him, because there's none of my daffodils out yet, as you can see. And you might be wondering, why am I holding a daffodil? Well, I can sure some of you are probably shouting at the screen at the moment. It's because it's the 1st of March, and the 1st of March is St. David's Day. And St. David is the patron saint of Wales, and some of you do have Welsh backgrounds, and his flower is always known as the daffodil and the leek. They usually have a leek, but I haven't got a leek, I'm afraid. And I always think St. David's Day really does herald spring. Once we see these daffodils start to bloom, it makes a big difference, doesn't it? And St. David was famous because when he used to preach to the people, people would say, "Oh, I can't see him, I'm right at the back, I can't see this man at all." And so what he did was he made the ground rise up beneath him. So he was standing on top of a mound, and he could look down on the people. And a white dove used to sit on his shoulder. And people used to say that that white dove was sent by God. So there you go. That's a little bit of story about St. David. But we're going to move on from Wales to a country this morning which is 7,000 miles away from Penrith, roughly. And it's a country in the Middle East, really, and it's called Oman. O-M-A-N. And Mark lives in Oman, and Matilda Harling knows Mark, and her dad knows Mark very well, as does her mum, because Mr. Harling, Nigel Harling, and Mark were the best of friends, and still are, I think. And I really quite like Mark because he was a geography teacher, and he's still a teacher of sorts, because he teaches out in Oman, and he is part of Outward Bound out there. Now, we know that Outward Bound is quite a big organisation in the Lake District, isn't it? Just down by Ullswater. But they do have other, what's the word, I suppose, other, not distributions, but other parts of Outward Bound in other parts of the world. And I didn't realise, but they've got one out in Oman. So Mark is going to show you round Oman today, and I want year 4 and 5 particularly to watch carefully, because of course we're doing deserts at the moment, year 4 and 5. And instead of me setting you some questions this morning, children, he actually sets you quite a few. He starts off showing you where he is up in the mountains, in the desert, and he shows you the mountain classroom, and then he shows you the desert classroom, and then he shows you around his Range Rover and how he lives when he goes out in the desert. And he has 2 dogs, and the dogs are called Freya and Dora the Explorer. And it's fascinating. It's a really fascinating study of the desert area. So I think you'll all enjoy that. So listen to his questions carefully and see if you can answer them. I don't think anybody will get all of them, but you may get some of them if you listen carefully. All right? So that's me for this morning. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I'll be with you again on Friday for our final assembly online. And then next Monday, I think Reverend Sargent is actually joining me at school next Monday. All right? So have a lovely day. Enjoy your last week. Hope you managed to get that cycling done. I think there's still a bit of time to get a bit more cycling in. I think we're going to take the key workers cycling later on this week. Okay, so best wishes to everybody. Say hello to your mums and dads for me as well, and we'll see you all very soon. Enjoy the rest of your week, children, and enjoy Mark. You'll really like this one. Bye.
Well, I'm back, and I hope you like the desert and the mountain classroom. I've now come down to the bottom of the valley, and I'm just going to show you to finish off my Land Rover, which is the perfect exploring here in Oman. This is it. So it's a Land Rover like you have in lots of these in the Lake District, I know. And I sleep on the roof rack, so it's got a very, very strong roof rack. So I sleep up there in a roof tent, and that folds down very small when I'm driving. And I sleep up there because it means that the scorpions can't get up there and sting me at night, or snakes can't bite me. I'm just going to walk you around. I can't go too far away from the car because I've got a barbecue going, and I've got sausages frying on the or roasting on the barbecue. And I know there's a girl at Hunter Hall called Matilda Harling, and Matilda's dad, if he smells a sausage, he's in like a shot. It doesn't matter whose plate it's on, he'll eat it. So I've just got to watch my sausages as I walk you around here, otherwise I'll have none left. So you'll see that I've got lots of bags everywhere with bits and bobs as my stove to make a cup of tea and a coffee in the morning. I've got some big spotlights if I arrive somewhere late at night so I can see where I am in the desert. I've got a big, like a chimney, a snorkel there, and that's not for water. It's so that the air that goes into the engine isn't full of dust and sand, because the closer you are to the ground, the more dust and sand there is. And in the vehicle, I carry all sorts of equipment. Often I'm in places where there's no mobile signal, so I'll carry a satellite phone. But the most important bit of gear I've got is, I wonder if you can work out what it is. It's going to be one of the next questions. 2 questions left. One is, what do you think is the most important bit of survival gear you should take into the desert or the mountains in Oman? And I'm going to show you what it is very soon. I'm just going to walk around here. I've got this door open just to show you that machine in there is a fridge freezer, so it keeps all my drinks nice and cool, and all my sausages nice and cool. And I go up, you can see there's a green canopy like a sail on a boat, and when it's really hot I can unfold that and use a couple of poles, and it gives me some nice shade by the side of the vehicle. I'm going to go around the back. Oh, by the way, that's Freya, the Omani Waddy dog, and Dora the Explorer in the background. They're up here with me. And the back of my car, you can see I've got a ladder going up so I can get up onto that roof rack and put up the roof tent, and then back around to the front. And then I wonder if you've worked out what the most important bit of survival equipment is. And if you get this right and all the other questions, then you get that special prize from your fantastic head teacher. Are you ready? Not quite sure you'll probably get this one, but this is something that you should never go into the desert or the mountains without. Are you ready? There it is. HP Source. Thank you for listening. Bye bye. Good morning to everyone at Hunter Hall School. I'm speaking to you from a place about 7,000 miles away from where you are right now, and I'm living actually on the edge of the biggest sand desert on earth. So this morning I'm going to be telling you a few things about the country where I live and what I do, and there's a few questions as well. So if you get all the questions right, your head teacher is going to give you a really special prize. So do listen carefully. So my name's Mark, and I've lived out here for 16 or 17 years now. I live in a country called Oman, and Oman's a beautiful place, and it's about the same size as Britain, where you live. We have a population of 4 million people. So my first question that you've got to work out today is, what's the population of your own country? And then you've got to try and work out, has Oman got more or less people than you've got? So it's a beautiful place. As I said, I live on the edge of the biggest sand desert on earth. And my next question is really, what's the name of the biggest sand desert on earth that I live on the edge of? So see if you can work that one out. That's question number 2. And because I live on the edge of a desert, you might think it's really, really hot, which it is for most of the year. In the summer, it gets up to 50 degrees, sometimes a little bit more, and that's 50 degrees Celsius, which is really hot. But we have mountains that go really high here. And that's where I am right now. Now I'm speaking to you. You can see I've got my fleece on here. And it's a little bit cold. And we have snow in the mountains sometimes. And my next question is, where I'm sitting right now is twice the height of Helvellyn. So roughly, how high am I right now? I'm finding it a little bit hard to breathe when I go for a walk, because there's less oxygen up here. And but it's lovely and lovely and cool. I'm just gonna flip mine around so you can see a little bit of the landscape here. So you can see there aren't many trees, but there are some. There's olive trees and juniper trees, and if you look really closely in the middle down below in the bottom of the valley, you'll see my white Land Rover. And I'm going to take you down there in a minute and talk to you about that Land Rover and how it's fantastic for desert expeditions and mountain expeditions. So I've lived out here then for 16, 17 years, and I run an organisation called Outward Bound. And you've got a fantastic Outward Bound school in Ullswater, which I know isn't too far from Penrith. And when you go with Outward Bound, you learn things that stay with you for the rest of your life. So it's just like going to school at Hunter Hall, except at Outward Bound, the classrooms don't have any walls and they don't have a roof. So the sun here, if I just feign, the sun, you can maybe see it's peeking through the bushes there. The sun is about 40 minutes away from setting, and when it does set, the temperatures drop very, very quickly. So it's going to go down to single digits tonight. So I've got a good warm sleeping bag. But you know, the Outward Bound classroom is quite fantastic. No walls, no roof, just stars and an amazing sky here in Oman. Anyway, because there's very few clouds in the sky, as you can see, it's very blue behind me. So the next question, especially for geographers listening, is the biggest line that goes around the centre of the planet horizontally is called the equator. And 23 degrees south of that equator is another line called the Tropic of Capricorn. And 23 degrees north of the equator is another line called the Tropic of what? What's the line of the other tropic? Because if you find that and put your finger on it on the atlas and follow it along, it'll take you right through Oman and right through my house in the capital city, Muscat. So that's where I live. So I'm going to stop now. I'm just going to show you a little video of our mountain classroom where we all go to learn. And I'm going to show you another video of our desert classroom. And we go to the desert in the winter months when even the biggest desert on earth is cool enough for us to take groups of young people out there to learn some amazing things about themselves. So I'm going to talk to you in a little while. Going to show you my Land Rover down there and some of the equipment that I carry. But for now, I'm going to take you to our mountain classroom and then to our desert classroom. See you later.